Welcome to This Is Not a Podcast. This is not exactly a live stream. This is just my thoughts with Ron Markman. That's the name of the show for right now, right? It's been a crazy day. Early in the day, a demo version of a Drake diss song dropped. A lot of people, it leaked. It wasn't dropped, it was leaked. It spread across the internet. A lot of people were speculating if it was AI, but a more final version leaked. It's called Push Ups. Drop and Give Me 50, or at least that's the working title. I don't know if Drake has exactly confirmed the title, but it's a response to not only Kendrick, but Future, Metro Boomin, The Weeknd, Rick Ross caught a shot. So I'm going to get into all of that, all right? Also, it just looks like, as I'm filming this now, that Rick Ross dropped the response. I'm not going to get into that right now. I'm going to listen. We're going to see if that warrants another video. Y'all let me know if y'all want a Rick Ross video. I haven't heard the track yet. But right now, we're just going to get into this Drake. And y'all know I'm petty, so I'm going to need an apology from everybody who said that I was wrong. I didn't know what I was talking about when I said that Drake had to respond to like that. And I said that Drake will respond to like that. You obviously don't listen to enough hip hop, or you don't listen to enough Drake to think that he would let that slide. It was always very clear and very apparent that he was going to respond to the record, and he did. Also want to shout out Janae Kingsbury at the Washington Post. She did an article breaking down this whole beef and wanted to speak to an expert. So she reached out to me. She didn't know about any of my background as a journalist. All she knew was these YouTube videos. So that's a thanks to y'all who watch it and comment and elevate it, because the Washington Post found it and they wanted to speak to me. So that was pretty cool. And, look, I'm just happy I'm doing this show. Like, I did this when Kendrick dropped like that. I didn't think it was necessarily going to become a thing, but I like the freedom of it. I'm here on my own. I press record on the camera. I run. I hit the desk. I do the sync clap. I edit the audio. I put it up, make the thumbnail. And, all of the shows I used to have, be it at Genius, Amazon, MTV. I mean, today's Saturday. So we wouldn't have been talking about this till Monday. So why wait? I want to talk about it with y'all now. And y'all know I'll be in those comments. So definitely jump in the comments with me. We're going to have a back and forth. But we're going to break down some of these bars, and I'm going to let you know my opinion. I'm definitely going to tell you what I think the score is, who I think is up right now. And I'm also going to talk about where I feel like some missteps have been, because there's been a little bit of missteps. So we're going to have fun with this video, man. So ride with me. So Drake gets started right away. He doesn't waste no time. He gets that Future right away, right? Now, if you remember on the intro to We Don't Trust You, the first Future Metro album that dropped, Future said, it was verse 2, I believe, on that song. He said, "You what #1 fan, dog. Sneak dissing, I don't understand, dog. Pillow talking, acting like a fed, dog. I don't need another fake friend, dog." So the very first line of this new track, this Drop and Give Me 50, this Push-Ups, Drake shoots right back, takes the Future line, twists it, and sends it right back at him when he says, "I can never be nobody #1 fan. Your first #1, I had to put it in your hand." So start breaking it down, right? What was Future's first #1 record? Way Too Sexy, all right? That's a Drake record. It featured Future and it featured Travis Scott. At the time, that was Future's first #1. And at the time, that was Drake's 9th #1. So, for Drake, the big #1 records on the Hot 100, chasing down Michael Jackson's record, that's a big thing for him that he takes pride in. So, he gets right to it. I can never be nobody #1 fan. Your first #1, I had to put it in your hand. It's a fact. And then Drake goes on to talk about how he's the hit maker that y'all depend on, which has some truth to it, right? We often talk about this concept of the Drake stimulus. And, I had said this before, but these battles are all about taking a piece of the truth, something that's known, something that's widely believed, and then you're twisting it in your favor. So that's what Drake is doing here. So, opens up strong, cool, what I expected. We don't get to the venom just yet, but he's opening up, he's starting. If it's like a boxing match, you circle the ring for a little bit, throw a couple jabs, like you don't really just come out with the uppercut. So same thing here. So the first Kendrick shot comes though on Like That. Remember, Dot said, "Got 2 T's with me, I'm snatching chains and burning tattoos." Now 2 T's is the muscle over at TD. He's the guy that you absolutely do not want to mess with. So Drake responds directly to this line with, "Backstage in my city, it was friend zone. You won't never take no chains off us. How the fuck you big stepping with size 7 men's on?" So he's heating up again, directly acknowledging what Kendrick said, twisting that shot, sending it back at him. You never taking no chains off us. There's a couple of references to Drake just saying that he's going to continue wearing all his chains and nobody's going to do nothing. And then, part of this is also playing the dozens, right? Getting the jokes off. So how you big stepping, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers with 5'7" men's on, just making fun of Kendrick's height, getting jokes off. So, and Drake goes on this bit, and this is where he really gets his angle in, right? And the angle that he's using on Kendrick is this 50, this drop and give me 50, which either means one or two things, and I'm not sure. So I'm not going to act like I know. But he seems to be suggesting either Kendrick was giving up 50% of his earnings to Top Dog, and Drake paints that as extortion, or 50 mil, because, I'm just trying to make sense of it, right? Well, I'm going to tell you what I think, but let me give you the line. He says, extortion, baby. Whole career, you've been shook up. Because Top told you drop and give me 50 like some push-ups. Now, the bar work is dope. The double entendre of drop your record and give me 50. I'm thinking maybe percent, but I'm going to talk about how that doesn't like fully make sense to me, right? But drop and give me 50. Or, when you're in the army, or like your football coach, drop and give me 50 push-ups. And we all seen that video of Kendrick in the park doing push-ups. So this slick double entendre, I like the energy here, right? Now, how true is it? We don't know. I don't know what the splits between Kendrick and Top Dog were. And, further in the record, Drake is talking about splits. It could have been 50-50. But I don't even know if that's a bad split. And I'm being honest. When I say I don't know, I truly don't know. I mean, what are other rappers getting with their major label deals? It depends on what the split is then with Interscope, what was Dre's split with the Aftermath stuff. Like, it's a lot here we don't know, right? But Dot's off TDE, and he's on PG Lang now. It's his own label, so I imagine that this is kind of null and void. But you also got to ask yourself, what was Drake's split with Wayne and Birdman before he renegotiated, right? Feels like a lot of artists can be in this type of deal. And the funny thing is, if you remember, Pusha took this angle on, against Drake on Exodus 23:1. Pusha said, you signed to one nigga that signed to another nigga that signed to three niggas. Now, that's bad luck. Now, that Pusha sub wasn't confirmed. It was always speculated. Could have been at Wayne, too. But it made more sense for Drake just because Drake was signed to Wayne. Wayne was signed to Birdman. Birdman had his deal with Universal Republic. But, again, a lot of artists are in these type of deals, so who really knows? So that's me assuming that he's talking about splits and percentages, right? And he has a couple of lines about splits later in the song about Kendrick doing splits, and he wanted to see what the splits was, or he could be talking about 50 million. Like, did Kendrick have to give Top 50 million? Like, I don't know. Like, I truly don't know. I'm kind of reading into this. If Drake is talking about splits, I mean, I still think it's a clever angle, right? Again, a lot of battling is just taking any bit of the truth, like I said, and twisting it in your favor. So I think Drake does a dope job. I don't think this is going to be his main angle when it's all said and done, but it works for now. We'll see if the people actually eat this up. We'll see if the people actually go for this. We'll see if people actually question, well, what was your split with YMCMB? Or if it wasn't about splits anymore and it was something more like 50 million. I don't really know, but it's an interesting angle. It's a strong angle. And, I think the people will eat it up. All right, so we continue on. Drake keeps on picking at the 50 angle and starts to use Dot's pop features to discredit Kendrick, right? So he says, you better do that motherfucking show inside the biddy. Maroon 5 need a verse. You better make it witty. Then we need a verse for the Swifties. Top say drop. You better drop and give them 50. So remember, Kendrick did Maroon 5's Don't Want to Know remix. He did Taylor Swift's Bad Blood remix. And those were big pop looks, and I'm sure Doc got a big check for both of them. Now, the line made me laugh because I completely forgot about these features until Drake said it. When you think about Kendrick and his catalog, you don't think about Taylor Swift. You definitely don't think about Maroon 5. A lot of rappers did the Maroon 5 feature, though. Wiz had a big one. Cardi B had a big one. So, I mean, there's a dope line here. It is entertaining. It made me laugh. Then he calls Kendrick a pipsqueak. Again, the dozens. We don't hear pipsqueak often. I thought the line was funny. It wasn't killer. It's not hurting nobody's feeling. But pipsqueak pipe down is funny. You ain't in no big three. SZA got you wiped down. Travis got you wiped down. Savage got you wiped down. Listen, SZA had a big year, right? SOS, triple platinum. I think it's on this way to 4 times platinum. Killed the charts all year. Snooze lives on the charts. So, and then Drake chooses SZA because that's Kendrick's former label mate. They got records together. As far as I know, their relationship is still intact. They still got a good relationship. It's almost like when Nas told Jay, compared to Beans, you're whack. You know, you take somebody's friend and you try to pit them against them. It never works. Like, it wasn't like Beans is going to turn around and diss Jay and says, yeah, man, compared to me, you're whack. Like, it never works. I don't think SZA is going to, in this instance, say, yeah, I am in the big three. What are you talking about? I'm bigger than you, and start turning on Kendrick. None of that is going to happen. But again, I think it's witty. I think it's funny. I think it's taking the truth, twisting it, Travis, Savage, I don't know. I just don't think they're in the big three. Kendrick's in the big three. Like, that's not going to change. But dope line, right? Drake did some Interscope Aftermath wordplay. That was cool. I think that was just like a bridge to get him into something more direct, and he gets into Kendrick's Mike Jack Prince bars, and like that, Dot said, your best work is a light pack. Prince outlived Mike Jack. Of course, Drake has been chasing down these Michael Jackson's Billboard Hot 100 record. That's been a big thing. He mentions it on a lot of records. So on this one, he says, I'm at the top of the mountain, so you tight now. Just to have this talk with your ass, I had to hike down. Big difference between Mike then and Mike now. What the fuck is this? A 20v1? What's a prince to a king? He a son. So it's cool. It's just taking, again, Kendrick's lines, twisting them, sending them right back at him, all right? So, Drake also addresses, though, the amount of rappers coming at him is 20 versus 1. I never quite saw this in rap. I mean, when we talk about, and I know I reference Jay-Z and Nas, Takeover and Ether a lot. When we talk about Takeover, people forget that Jay wasn't just going at Nas. He was going at Mobb Deep, too. He was going at Prodigy. They weren't teaming up against Jay. Prodigy and Nas had their own kind of thing going on, too, where they were kind of dissing each other. But Takeover, Jay was going at Nas and Mobb Deep, Prodigy more so in particular. But this is wild. This is Future. This is Metro. This is Weeknd. A$AP Rocky's in it now. It's Kendrick. It's Rick Ross. I be on my comic book shit, so it is really like the Avengers getting together to fight Thanos. Shout out to my man Carl Cherry. He made that analogy on Twitter, and I think it's spot on here. So it's just a crazy visual. But, props to Drake, because this is just not a Kendrick Lamar diss record. Like, he's kind of addressing everybody who's addressed him recently. Also, man, I thought the Metro line was hilarious. To get more love in that city that you from, Metro, shut your whole ass up and make some drums. And then the beat drops out. I just thought that was super funny. So again, Kendrick, Drake is getting through this record. And, the lines are landing. It's not like no super uppercuts or haymakers, but I don't think that what this was designed for. This is I think we're going to see more records in this thing. So it's really just getting warm up, but he's addressing everybody. Hey, I heard what you said and I got some shit on you and I'm ready and I'm taking on all challenges. All right, so Drake goes on. Weeknd gets some shots too. Yeah, I'm the sixth god. I'm the front runner. Your manager was Chubbs' little blunt runner. Claimed the six and you boys ain't even come from it. And when you boys got rich, you had to run from it. Cash blowing Abel bread out here tricking. Shit we do for bitches, he's doing for... Oh, man. So shout out to Cash at XO. I don't know what's going on, but all is fair in love and war, right? Definitely getting at Weeknd in the XO camp. I'm going to skip some bars for now because, while I do say all is fair in love and war, Drake makes a reference that if I'm reading it right, could turn into something nasty. He says, rolling out stage, y'all was turned, that was slick as hell. Should have probably changed if your little BM kiss and tell. Hugs and kisses, man. Don't tell me about no switches. I'm rocking every fucking chain I own next visit. I'll be with some bodyguards like Whitney. Top, stay drop. You little midget ass better drop and give me 50. So, one, who is the BM that Drake is talking about? Is it one of Future's baby mothers? Maybe it's Rocky, so that would be Rihanna. Drake has some Rihanna bars in the last album, so it could be that. But the hugs and kisses, don't tell me about no switches. That's direct reference to Kendrick's verse on Like That when he said, fuck sneak dissing, first person shooter. I hope they came with 3 snitches. Then Drake says, I'll be rocking every chain that I own next visit. Again, a reference to Kendrick's 2T's, snatching chains, burning tattoos. So he's just saying, like, y'all not taking the chain off me. And Drake says, I'll be with some bodyguards like Whitney. Now, this is the nasty part. Of course, it's a reference to the late Whitney Houston's Bodyguard movie, but also Kendrick's wife and the mother of his children is named Whitney. Now, and there's the honest to God truth. I don't think Drake is suggesting anything about Dot's wife. I don't think that's it at all. But just the mention of his wife's name could get nasty, right? Again, I don't believe in any types of rules, but you mention somebody's spouse's name, like, and you may get some personal and disrespectful bars sent back your way. And that's just the game. If you remember Duppy Freestyle, he mentioned Pusha T's wife, his full name right towards the end. And he didn't really say anything disrespectful about her in that song. But the mere mention, you can't blame a guy for going another level after that, right? In Astoria Adidon, Pusha mentioned Drake's son, his baby mom, his dad, 40 caught some strays. And it was all way more scathing than what Drake said. But, you know, once you open that door for disrespect even a little bit, you can't be surprised if someone comes and kicks that door in. And again, maybe this is nothing. Again, I don't think Drake said anything super disrespectful or malicious. It's just wordplay. But you just don't know how Kendrick might take that. And after the Pusha thing, I'm just curious why he would go there. Again, on the very surface, it's a Whitney Houston bodyguard thing. Maybe it's just a coincidence, too. Maybe it's like, dude is not even thinking on that level. Because, again, I don't think anything bad was said to bodyguards like Whitney. But I was just curious. It definitely made my ears perk up. All right, Drake goes on, drops some more bars, and then he hits Rick Ross. He says, I might take your latest girl and cuff her like I'm Ricky. Can't believe he jumping in. He's turning 50. Every song that made it on the chart he got from Drizzy. Spent that little check you got and stay about my business. Worry about whatever going on with you and Now, he doesn't say a name, but I'm pretty sure to worry about whatever you got going on with you and I think the blank space. Diddy feels like what he wanted to say there. Obviously, Diddy is making headlines. I don't know Ross's involvement in that, but Diddy and Ross were close. So, you know, it feels like that type of shot. And then Ross just dropped the diss record. Like I said, as I'm recording this, my group text is going off. I didn't hear it yet. If y'all want me to break it down, let me know. Drake references J. Cole taking back his Kendrick diss. He says, hey, that fucking song y'all got is not starting beef with us. That shit brewing in the pot now. I'm heating up. I don't care what you think. That Dot shit was weak as fuck. Champagne tripping. And he's not fucking easing up. That was a dope bar. Not sure what the begging Cas or not bar was about. Then he gets into numbers, right? He goes, numbers wise, I'm up out of here. You're not fucking creeping up. Money wise, I'm out of here. You're not fucking sneaking up. Cornball, your show money, merch money, feeding us. I'm going to let you just work it out because I ain't seen enough. This ain't everything I know. Don't wake a demon up. This ain't everything I know. Don't wake a demon up. Drop and give me 50 or y'all teaming up. I'm not really excited about the numbers and the money talk. Kendrick got numbers too. Drake is bigger number wise for sure. Drake probably got more dough too, but you're not talking to a nobody, right? Weeknd is top tier. Future is top tier. I know a lot of fans will get into the money and numbers talk, and Drake has earned that right. He also said enough on this record to like if the whole record was just about, hey, I do more numbers than y'all, I got more money than y'all, that would be corny to me. But he said enough. He threw enough shots on this record that he could get his little, you know, I got my numbers up, I got my money up, y'all can't see me. But that doesn't excite me. I know a lot of his fans will go for that. I know a lot of fans just in general will go for that. I'm not mad at it, but this can't be the whole record. But like I said, it's just a mention here. It's appropriate here. But how he ends it is interesting. This ain't everything I know. Don't wake a demon up. It's good foreshadowing. Again, it's kind of like when Jay said to Nas, you know who did what, you know what, with you know who. Let's keep that between me and you. It's foreshadowing like there's something else going on here. So it's a really, really good ending. All right, so where are we at the end of this? I mean, listen, man. Drake responded the right way with this record. Drake is up right now. The record is dope. Like hands down. I know we went bar for bar. Well, not bar for bar, but most of the bars. And I talked about it and broke down what I liked, what I didn't like. But overall, this record is dope. It's exactly what Drake needed. I don't think this is the record. I don't think this is the angle. This is a warm up. It was like the perfect response to Like That. It ups the ante. It takes it up another level. It adds some fire to it. And also the fact that he just wasn't responding to Kendrick. He was responding to multiple people. I think that makes this record dope. Now, what I didn't like, where I think the misstep was the rollout. To me, the rollout was sloppy. Now, either Drake leaked this record himself to test the waters, to feel like, if this is what people wanted to hear, or someone in his camp was very sloppy. But I mean, with this many years in the game, I feel like OVO should know better. OVO should do better. This is like high stakes right now. There's no way that this record should have leaked, because the early version was on the internet, and we spent like the first hour or two debating whether or not it was AI. Like, people just didn't know. I think it would have been more impactful if Drake would have just dropped it with a link, being on SoundCloud or YouTube or DSPs. But if it would have came straight from Drake or an OVO source, or in just some type of way, it would have eliminated the back and forth of whether or not this was an AI, because people were debating whether or not Drake had to respond anyway. So I think that angle took like some of the wind out the sails. But I do think when we go on a couple of months from now, nobody's going to remember the rollout. You're just going to remember the records, right? And the record was strong. But I do think Drake was robbed of the chance to make like even a bigger impact than he's made. He's made a big impact. The record did what it was supposed to do. But again, I think that's on his team. Like, somebody there should have known better. This record should have never got out. Drake is too big of an artist. But like I said, that's like my only real gripe with the record was the rollout. Strong fucking response. It got Drake up right now. Drake is up. He's up. We got to see what Kendrick is holding on to, though. In the early leak version of the song, Drake said, "You had a song for 4 years. Drop that shit and shut your mouth." That was the early leak version. That version is gone. But, again, if this is boxing, they're just dancing around the ring a little bit. Jab, 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 scoring points or whatever. Drake is up. The ball is in Kendrick's court. Got to see what Kendrick is going to respond with next. He got to drop now. Same rules apply. I don't think anybody's on the clock. But Drake got to drop. I mean, Kendrick got to drop, sorry. And he got to drop something strong. That's all my thoughts, man. They're subjective. I try to keep it like as balanced as possible. But let me know what you think. Like, subscribe, comment. I be in the comments talking with y'all. And I have a feeling we're going to have another video soon. So I look forward to it. Peace.